So we've all been told how the flip is one of the worst things you can do in the golf swing. If you've been struggling to get rid of your flip, you feel like you've done everything, you've tried to hold on through contact, but you just can't stop releasing early, I'm going to talk about how there's a good flip and a bad flip, and how one is going to get you tons of distance and the other one's going to kill your distance. So let's go ahead and get started. Now when we're talking about the flip, what I mean here is the angle in the right wrist and how the angle in the right wrist releases. So if we have a bad flip, we're going to be getting rid of this angle early, and as I make contact, you can see my right wrist is already dead flat. If I have a good flip or a good release, a release is probably a better word for it, as I'm coming into contact, I'm keeping this angle later in the downswing, and then I'm releasing that as I'm coming through contact. All right, so for those of you who are struggling with a bad kind of flip and releasing early, usually what I see that's happening for most people, and this may feel like exactly what you're doing, but a lot of times people will get to the left side a little too much, and if we had a good angle in the wrist coming down, we'd be coming down too steep, so we actually flip and release the club to try to shallow this out. A lot of times that'll result in a bent left wrist at impact, a complete loss of the angle of the wrist to the right wrist, and then also a chicken wing as we're coming through impact because we're releasing the club so hard. That costs us a lot of distance and a lot of speed because we're burning all that distance very, very early. Now, if you try to hold on as you're coming through there, it tends to not work because we're so far left, we'd be chopping down into the ball. There's a couple things we need to do to get this correct. Now, with the good flip, we still want to be releasing that right wrist, but it comes down to when we want to release the right wrist. So as we start the downswing, instead of getting way up to the front, we're going to stay back a little bit with our upper body. And now as I'm coming into contact, you can see as my hands are almost over top of the golf ball, look how my right wrist is pointing down toward the ground and my knuckles are back, still back to my elbow here. Now, if you took your index finger knuckle, the bottom knuckle on your index finger, and you felt like you paused just prior to contact, I want to feel like that is facing down to the ground. So just before my hand gets to the ball or over top of the ball, my right knuckle is facing down to the ground. Now from here, I really want to release this club. So for those of you who felt like you're trying to hold on, we want to do the opposite of that. We want to go ahead and be releasing the angle of the right wrist as we're coming through contact. And as we get 45 past, now you can see from my chest down through the club, I'm fully released here, and my right wrist has lost all of its angles. It's that acceleration of the right wrist and letting that club go that's going to help us to get more club head speed. Okay, so if we actually want to get rid of this flip once and for all, there's two things that we have to do. The first thing we have to do whenever we're working on any type of a swing change is we have to visualize what perfect contact is going to feel like. So as I'm making these technical changes, I want to be visualizing in my head and feeling exactly what it's going to feel like to hit that dead solid shot. So I want to feel like my club face is coming into the ball is sinking into the face like it's a rubber ball. It's going to be that soft, and it's going to stick to the face for a good 4 or 5 inches as we're coming through contact. So even though it isn't exactly happening in reality, we're going to get that feeling. And if I can visualize that good feeling and now pair it up with this drill, that's going to help me to improve a lot faster. So I want to get that great feeling. I'm thinking of a dead solid shot. I'm seeing the ball flight, and now I'm going to work through this drill, a 2-piece drill. So I've got on the bottom of my index finger that little X there on the knuckle. As I come down just prior to contact, again, I'm going to stop my hands just before they're over top of the golf ball, and I'm going to see my club angled back very nicely. At this point, I'm going to feel like that X on my index finger is down toward the ground, and my knuckles are back toward my elbow. And that's going to give me a lot of lag and a ton of forward shaft lean as I'm coming here. Now I want to go ahead and pause in the release. Again, 45 past, and my right wrist is dead flat. After this, I can go ahead and fold up my left wrist. That's completely fine. So it's all right to fold up your left wrist after you fully release, but not before. I'm going to do about 100 reps, getting that good visual, that dead solid contact, and pausing and trying to pair up my technique with my feel as I'm doing this in slow motion. After you've done that, we're going to go ahead and do about 100 full swings, focusing on the same thing without any pauses. Then we're going to take it to the course and hit some drivers. And I guarantee you, you guys focus on that good contact, get the technique right, pair those two together, and you're going to hit some great shots. All right, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. One of the things that I didn't mention in this video is one of the #1 lag mistakes that I see with the takeaway. And I got a great video for you on this. It's going to pop up here in a second to preview that. Go ahead and click the link that's in your screen or down below in the description. You'll be able to see that full lag video, get you better lag, get you better distance, and we're going to keep on rolling, getting you to rip that ball. Good luck, and I'll see you in the lag video. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Clay Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see, and in this drill what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position, exact same thing happens when we're building lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a three-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be. I want to use the full length of this club to build lag and then release lag.